introduce yourself?
This is the Treasurer's Report at the New York State Women's Conference on June 8th, 2013.
Hi, I'm Mary Stelly, and I'm the New York State Women Incorporated Treasurer, and I'm also a member of Lake Shore Chapter of New York State Women. And I presently am a part-time manager of a $16 million credit union, and I've been treasurer before for state, back in '95, so I've kind of been recycled. I would like to have everybody introduce themselves, tell them what you do and what your title is at your chapter and how long you've done it, okay? All right? Let's start with you, Diane.
Hi, I'm Diane Dinsmore. I am president of the Grand Island Professional Women's Chapter of New York State Women Inc. I am the finance chairperson currently for a state organization, and I was recently installed as the assistant regional director for Region 8. I own my own business. I have a consulting firm, and no employees, just me. Keeps it easier.
Definitely.
I'm Allison Fryer, and I also have my own consulting firm. No employees. It makes it very nice. I just joined last year, and I am jumping in with both feet. I am treasurer for the Susquehanna chapter, and I am about to become secretary for Region 6.
Oh,
so
good.
I'm keeping
Wonderful.
a little busy.
Good, a little bit on the region as well as the chapter. That's great. Then we can go to state.
Yeah,
No,
probably eventually.
Yeah, eventually. That's it. No, you don't have to do it fast.
I'm Debbie O'Neill. I'm from Region 7, the Kenyon chapter. I'm a retired civil servant who worked for the Air Force for 33 and a half years, most of it at the Pentagon.
Oh, wow.
I was a program analyst over a program that was $6.3 billion a year.
Man.
Nice.
Wow.
So they decided I could count and keep a checkbook, and so I'm the treasurer for a year.
Well, that's nice.
I don't know if that's such a good thing or not, but I enjoy it.
Good.
Enjoy it. And
Good. That's great.
Mary Ellen Morgan co-chairs is co-treasurer because it's just good to have the overlap.
Sure, it is. Yeah.
And
She'll be a good mentor for you.
oh well, she already is. I'm on the phone to her and Dean all the time.
I'm Jenny Sharon. I am the regional director for Region 3. That's this area, so welcome to Albany. We have been, this is my third time as region director. No, sorry. Second time. I'm exercising a loophole. Gotta love loopholes. We'll learn about those as treasurers. Or maybe we won't. I was a district director, and then when we switched over to regions, I was region director, and now I'm doing my second term as region director. I have been active with the organization, local, district, state, national level for a bazillion years. My husband was in the Air Force and then on the corporate track. So we've been in New York, started out in Syracuse, been in California, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Rhode Island, Kansas, and I'm back here. So, but I've been active doing just about everything. I am also currently the membership chair, although I've been distracted by managing an estate at the moment. So I have a small business, one employee decided to go into higher things, and so I have a energy research website. It's kind of fun.
Okay, great. All right, well, the first thing, when you're a new treasurer, first thing you really have to do is to get the signature cards for the bank, okay? Decide who's going to be on with you, but generally it's usually the president, but it really can be whatever your chapter decides how many. So you should always have more than one person on the bank account. Okay, that can sign checks. Okay, so that's the first thing you should do. Okay, as you start your job as treasurer, one of the most important things is to make timely deposits. Okay, make sure you at least once a week or every 2 weeks, at least, take whatever funds you have, whether they're cash or checks, deposit them in your bank account. Okay, and record the entries, and I think for many of the chapters they don't have a lot of funds, so they do manual accounting. If you're lucky enough to have a program and you want to do it on that, it's much easier. There's several programs out there that will do it, and many people even do it on Excel.
Yeah,
So
just do a
you can
spreadsheet.
do it on Excel because you can just, it's I don't think you have a lot of entries like the state has, money going in and out, so you can do it. So whether you do it manually or on a computer helps, okay? Make sure that you, at each of your chapter meetings, which generally are monthly, that you give a report, a written one, as well as, if your chapter would want you to make copies or just give verbally, but there should be a couple written copies, okay, printed copies, so that you have one for your file, and then say your president should have a copy, okay, and then your membership. If you have newsletters, some of the chapters put the treasurer's report right in the newsletter, and then it takes some of the time away from your actual meeting so that you can concentrate on other things. But everybody doesn't have a newsletter, so that's okay. All right.
Can I interject?
Sure,
one
yes, you
thing
can.
in
Just,
there?
I was going to say, jump in whenever you want. No, she's the finance chair for state, so we work together very well.
With the deposits, I like to stress that, be it cash or be it checks, make a copy of everything that's going on in that deposit. When you get the deposit receipt, staple that copy with the receipt, and now you know for sure where everything came from, and you have just, I know I'm a paper person, I'm sorry. I love the computer, but trust me, everything that goes in the computer comes out as a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Because someday all computers are going to crash at one time, and nobody's going to have anything except me with reams of paper.
Yeah.
K2Y happened in 2000.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Believe me. I remember at the credit union, we had boxes of K2. I said, I told her,
Can you get rid of it?
Can I finally shred all this stuff?
Yep.
She always wish you could.
Well, you know what? It's still a good idea.
No,
Oh, yes.
I'm still a
For the
firm
state,
believer.
make
I'm very
copies.
old school.
Yep. For the state, I make copies of all the checks that I deposit, all the checks that I write, so that, even, it's just like a refresher, and it helps you remember. You don't have to have all that stuff in your head. Say you forgot to write something down. But yes,
I firmly believe that, especially for an audit,
right.
Absolutely. Tell me about
Which
it.
we'll get in. Yep.
you need to say, oh yes, this deposit was right here, right, and this is being paid it, and for the cash, write the person's name
Right.
along with the cash.
Also,
I copy 10s, 20s, and 50s all the time.
I don't copy the cash, but I don't get a lot of cash
I
for
do.
stake. But,
No, you don't with state, but a lot
In
of things.
chapter you do.
You do in
In
chapter, you
chapters,
get a
you
lot of cash.
cash.
Yeah, that's true. And also, when you're paying your bills, make sure you have proper documentation that you actually do have an invoice to pay that bill. Okay, make sure that's attached. If you make a copy
And
of
that
the
it's
check,
been approved.
and yes, and that it's been approved. Yes, and that's where you should work with your president or your finance chair, if that's how your finance
Well, when
chair.
you say that it's been approved, example,
Okay.
somebody calls me and says, Deb, so-and-so sick, we need flowers.
Okay.
They come to me for the approval to
Sure.
spend the money.
Well, you would have the invoice, and your chapter knows that in your budget you should have some funds allocated
For that,
right.
yes.
So something like that. Yeah, that's okay. You've got the
I mean,
documentation.
other stuff,
For instance, you go buy some stamps. Make sure you
Debbie buys the stamps for the chapter.
And then, you know, get the receipt,
Yeah.
you know, and then,
Yeah, I just donate my stamps.
I think a lot of chapters, smaller
I
chapters
think
do
we
that.
all do.
Yes,
Yeah.
they don't, you know,
But-
yeah.
Other stuff we vote on. I mean, if we're going to give scholarships or we're going to give
Because when you're doing
awards
an
of some
audit,
kind.
right, when you're doing when you're doing your annual audit, which is, you know, it's stressed to do annual audits every year because it protects.
Well, this was my first one
Sure.
this year. I didn't know they did them.
Yes. Hi Pat,
Hi.
do you want to just introduce yourself real quick? Tell us what you do and.
Pat Fanning, and I'm a member of Central New York. Our treasurer isn't here, so I would sit in and find out about information to take back to her.
Okay. Do you know everybody here?
Yeah. Oh,
I'm Debbie O'Neill from Penn.
hi Debbie.
And Allison Fryer from Susquehanna.
Hi Allison.
And you know Diane. You know who Diane is?
Yes, we had breakfast together.
Great. Okay, well, we just went over just about making deposits. Diane said make sure you it's good to make copies of checks. So
And cash when you're
and
making
cash when you're, you
deposits.
know.
Career recognition.
Oh,
And staple that to the receipt. Staple the copies to the receipt that you get from the bank.
And then we discussed already recording the entries, whether you do them manually or on some software program. Some people use Excel, some still do it manually. Many chapters don't have a lot of entries, okay? So you can do it whatever way you can, okay? And then you're into paying bills with having proper documentation, making sure they've been approved, okay? All right, and you should be giving monthly reports to your chapter, okay? And at least make a couple copies, one for your president, one for your own records, so when they do the audit. And also, sometimes some chapters have a newsletter, so they put the treasury report right in there. Everybody doesn't have newsletters anymore, so there's that. Okay. And when you're as you're going through your year, watch your income and expenses to see how it's going with your budget, if you're over the budget, or so that you can bring that, let your chapter know that, ooh, we only budgeted $100 for postage or for dinners, and now we're up to $150. So they're aware of that, how you are working with your budget, okay? And like we said earlier, have an annual audit, because it not only protects you, but it protects your chapter. It's good for everybody involved, okay? And at that annual audit, you'll have all your documentation. You should have the minutes available, so if they want to go, if the audit committee wants to go back and check if that was an authorized expense, okay, you should make sure that your minutes are available. And do it as soon after your year ends, so that the new treasurer can start, okay? So you should try to, and then give that report at your next meeting. Some of the chapters don't meet during the summer, so many times it's in the fall, okay? So does anybody have any questions about the audit at all, or any of this so far?
One question.
Sure.
Who typically does the audit?
According to your bylaws, you see if your audit committee is appointed or elected, or how you're under, so you can check your bylaws, okay? And your bylaws should also indicate how many people you have on that. Here at the state, there's 2 appointed and then 3 elected, I believe.
I know it.
Oh, no, that's nominated. No, wait a second, that's nominated. Forget that. Yeah.
At our local level, one is appointed by the president,
Okay.
and 2 are elected
Right, yeah.
by the members.
Okay. So,
Now, in our chapter, they're all appointed by the
yeah.
Yeah.
So you can just check your bylaws, because as far as that, I don't believe there's anything underlined in the new bylaws.
I didn't see anything.
I didn't either, so.
There are no underlines anywhere. All the
Yes, there are. Yes,
all the mandates that came down from BPWSA are gone forever.
I know, but when we did ours, I said to Margarita, because the first thing I said I saw didn't have a lot of underlines, and the next sample did, and she said, yes, there is underlining.
Everything is mandated
Yeah.
from New York State women down to
Yeah.
the regions, down to the locals.
Yeah.
But nothing is mandated
Yeah.
from on higher.
No.
So all of our new bylaws on the state level should be either underline everything or take all the underlines
Right,
out, because
yeah, I
nothing
know.
is mandated from above.
You know, so check your bylaws to see how many people are on your audit committee, okay? When you're check writing, if your chapter requires 2 signatures on a check, okay, it's a good idea to have, when you get your checks printed, to have them do 2 lines, or put the verbiage, 2 signatures required, okay? Because I did recently just get a check from a chapter, and it came back because the signature was not on there, and I surprised that some institutions still check that, but they did.
Yeah, because I've had checks go through with no
Yeah,
signatures.
so have I.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's a little scary.
And when you do it, sign above the encoding line. With the new technology, I still see treasurers and co-treasurers signing right at the bottom, right across from all those numbers. And sometimes when the tellers are putting that through the encoder, that kicks it out, and then you have to go in manually, put the numbers and all that. It just saves time for someone at the other end. So, same thing with when you're writing above any of those numbers. Sometimes people have fancy handwriting or sprawl, and they go over those numbers, and that kicks it out. So that's just for thinking of the next person handling your check, okay? Hi, Kathy.
How are you?
Good.
I came in before and nobody was here, so I went.
Oh dear.
And then I said, oh, I'm late.
So that's just some little tips about check writing, okay? And also, when you're doing the numbers, you just have to put like $40.40-00. You don't have to do that the old school where you had 00 over 100, years ago.
And
you don't have to do that in the number part. Just put 40 because that also kicks it. Since we encoded our credit union, then I know all the things that kick out checks. And then you have.
I mean, where you write it, you don't put and anymore?
No, not at the write it part, but
Up in the little block.
Yeah, the little block. Years ago, they used to put 00 over. Years ago.
Over 100, okay.
Right, and you don't do that anymore because then that kicks it out too. So all these little technology is great, but you also have to go by their rules.
Well, in the technology, it might look at 00 over 100 to be maybe this is an 80 cents or something.
So what it does at our credit,
the computers can't read it.
It just kicks it out. You have to go through and when
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I think it's aimed at me. Yeah, I think it's just aimed at me.
They're recording her.
Yeah.
To put it out.
Yeah, we're being recorded.
I can watch her on here, Pat. In case my eyes aren't open yet.
When you get the invoice for the liability insurance, because all of the chapters should have liability insurance now. When you get that, just make sure you pay it promptly. Okay. We did not bill the chapters during the current year. Because when I did the self-audits, we had almost $2,500 coming back, so we decided some had paid, some hadn't paid, some had disbanded it, just decided to just forget it. So when you get your 2013-14 invoice, which will be after July, okay?
Okay.
Just make sure that
We gotta fix that.
just pay it promptly, and then, everybody's paid
So
their
we didn't
share.
pay last year?
No, nobody was
chapters
billed.
got billed.
No,
Okay.
nobody was billed. The self-audits hadn't been done
Right.
for 2 years, so the numbers were really way off. We keep losing members, and part of that, in the chapters, and part of that's how part of the premium is figured.
Yeah.
Yes, they determine it that way. So, and your location, those are the 2 things that are important. So, we did get a nice refund back, so we decided to let the chapters share in that rather than billing them. Okay. So, then if your chapter is having a special event, because that certificate covers your monthly meetings, but if you're having a special event, then you need to contact me and get a new certificate of insurance, okay? So it's just like for a specific day, specific location, and it's just for that day, okay? Many of the businesses are building owners will require that, some don't, so I don't know if you've had that happen.
For AMBA,
Yes,
AMBA provides us with an insurance certificate that we give the school.
Right.
So I've never even bothered to give them a copy of ours.
Yeah. Some don't ask for them, some provide it, and some want it. So there's a couple different ways.
Yeah, I didn't know if we should be doing ours in addition.
Now,
No.
Yeah.
I just want to stress also that if you notice, all of our events, when we have, most of the time, the reception last night was not a cash thing, but because our insurance does not cover any liquor legal.
True. Yeah.
So therefore, any event you have, you cannot provide the liquor or beer. It has to be provided by the establishment or whatever venue you're using, and on a cash basis for the members to pay for or the guests to pay for. That way the onus of that falls on them, not on us.
Right.
Because we have no insurance. If someone should go out and have a DWI accident or whatever, God forbid, but it happens, right? To the best of all people. I can't stress that enough, that there are a lot of things that are not covered, but, and that being the major thing.
Yeah, it doesn't cover the. And then assist your membership chair, if it's your vice president or if you have assist them with the members to make sure that members have paid their dues. When I was doing the audit for my chapter, we were going through the members and checking to make sure that Susie Smith had been sent to New York State. And okay, when we were through there, we found one that hadn't been sent in, and she just really thought she had it. She just missed it. So you need to do a little checklist with your membership chair to make sure that who you have, who's a member of yours, that they have paid their dues and the state portion has been remitted. Okay, it's easy to miss that. So just work with your membership chair. And as the attorneys spoke yesterday afternoon, all the chapters should be filing the 990s. I know they don't, and it's just that postcard thing, which is, for most of them, it's just that postcard 990, and as Barb Ziegler told me, it's just one little question.
Yep, one question.
Yep, one question.
No
It's very
activity.
easy. Yeah.
And that's
For
what
chapters
it is, no activity.
for chapters that have a lot of money, then they
You have to have,
yeah.
over $25,000
Right.
in.
Not gonna happen where I
There's
am.
only a few chapters that have more than that. Then they would have to do their form.
But having the $25,000 is only a part of it.
Right. So
So it's, you need to check with an accountant or someone
yeah,
you
we have a
know.
lot of
What,
funds.
I talked with an accountant about a different organization because we're in the same situation where nobody's been filing the 990. And their recommendation to me was not to file the 990
Right.
until the incorporation is done so that we don't throw up a red flag.
Yep. Right.
Yep. If
So
you're not
I figured
incorporated, do
with
not
this, we've just
file
been
it,
waiting.
because you're just gonna
Yep.
create another headache for yourself.
You're kidding. What have you been filing them all along?
Then
Who's
you're
been filing? Has your chapter been filing them?
then you're in good shape.
Yeah. Then
Well,
you are, yeah.
The previous treasurer filed, and last August, she stepped down for personal reasons.
Right.
And she got a couple letters from the IRS, and she gave them to me, and it was like, and I knew she had filed them because she had told me who she went and did it with.
Yeah. Right.
2009, 2010, 2011 hadn't been filed.
Right. If you're not incorporated, they wouldn't need to be filed.
So I didn't know what to do. So I called the number on the letter and asked. The lady was very nice, And she says, well, just because you've called, you've now filed for 2009, 2010, and 2011. I don't get that.
It's the IRS. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking it's all mixed up with a lot of the stuff that's going on now that you're hearing about.
Sure, probably.
Because they're looking at nonprofits.
Yes, they are looking at nonprofits, yeah.
So I went to file this year, and of course, they were late. They just started letting you file them. You were supposed to be able to file them in January, and you couldn't.
Yeah, well, there's a big problem.
It depends on when your year ends. That's the other thing with the 990.
Right.
The 990 gets filed within 5 months after the close of the year.
Your fiscal year.
So after June 30th.
Right.
Count 5 months.
Right.
So we should be
November
filing.
15th
Is the
for
first,
a
It's the first deadline.
June 30th year end. Now you can also get an extension.
Right.
Once.
You can get 2
You
extensions
get twice, and then you have to do it.
on a 990 only.
Yeah.
Now, that's the only form that
That's the
I...
only one that
Yeah.
you can get
Right.
2 extensions.
Right.
Well, what other form would you have to fill out?
Well, none. I'm only saying
Oh.
if you're doing your own personal taxes, you
Oh.
only get 1 extension.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
a 6
Yeah,
month.
businesses, they,
I don't ever
you
get that.
2 3-month extensions.
Okay.
And if the incorporation goes through, then we don't have to deal with sales tax.
The sales
You'll
tax
still
has
have
nothing to do with
I know it's nothing to do with that, but chapters sell stuff, and
yes, they do.
currently,
And that
currently,
comes into the sales tax issue.
right, well,
Which
currently
New York
we,
State now has a sales
You don't have a
tax
sales
number.
tax number?
no, we don't. We sold Innisbrook wrapping paper for years, and we paid tax to Innisbrook. So
as long as
when
you
we,
paid the-
Yeah.
when we sold, we didn't collect tax, and we figured that was the way around it. But a lot of chapters sell stuff. Some of them collect tax. I don't know if they file their sales tax return in New York State or not.
No, they don't.
But
No, they
if we incorporate and get status as a nonprofit,
We
then
already have status as a nonprofit under the umbrella of the state.
Your chapter.
is that a fact?
Chapter.
Yes, it is. That's
As
the
far
IRS
as just
law.
being non-profit, yes. Not exempt from sales tax, though.
Right, okay.
That's two different
Yeah,
things.
there's 2 different
Okay,
things, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, You're just exempt from filing, quote, taxes.
Right, but if we incorporate the way the discussion is going, then we
Yes.
would also be exempt from filing sales tax.
No.
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 No. Then you
Okay.
You have to
Then you have
report.
you would have to file for a New York State sales tax number.
And would each chapter do that?
They would have to.
Okay.
Unless they
just
decide
do
they're
it.
gonna do it, the state's gonna do it as a whole.
And would paying the sales tax to the vendor, the way we've been doing in the past, still satisfy that requirement?
Profit when you sell it, though.
Well,
Are you selling
when
it for what you paid for it, or are you selling it for more than
More
you paid
money.
for it?
No, we sell it for more.
Yeah.
Okay, so the more needs tax paid on it.
Okay.
And it's
Sales
complicated.
tax
It
is
is
a very,
complicated.
very complicated thing.
Yeah.
Well, I pay sales tax in my own business, but
Totally different than
Yeah.
income tax.
Yeah.
So the 990's income.
No, yeah, income tax, yes.
Yes, that's
IRS
federal.
tax, federal tax,
And the sales tax.
which there's no
State.
tax, there's no tax for any nonprofit. I don't care if you're a 501c1, 2, 6, 15, 30, whatever you are. You do not pay any income taxes, but based on the volume of,
Sales.
not sales, money's generated.
Gross income.
Where it
Yeah,
comes
right,
from,
right.
where it comes from, what it's used for,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Is
You need to pay
is
taxes on that.
No, you do not pay any taxes.
Okay.
No,
But you need to file on this.
you need to file and show where your money came from, what you did with it, because you are a nonprofit. It's only to be used for.
It used to be that if you had taken in, if you had taken in less then 25,000 in gross income on an average
Right.
Right.
over a 3-year period. You didn't.
That's where the 990